Good morning. Wanted to talk about some of the technology that I use to assist me with growing some of the tropicals here. So you absolutely do not need these, but in my experience, they just really help out a lot. So starting off with a water system that I've got, it's an irrigation system that I finally set up. So by trade, I am a network security engineer, which means typically every year or so, I attend these week-long conventions throughout the country, basically, which would mean I don't have time to water my trees. So I finally set up a system which allows me to remotely, over the internet, water my trees here. So I wanted to kind of show you what I've got set up here. So it's simply a Bluetooth device which connects to your water hose faucets, and then from there, of course, it gets connected to my irrigation system. But I kind of want to show you how I've got it all set up. I'm manually running at this moment, but if you've looked at the setup here, that's the main hose. And then I've got little lines going to various containers. And for trees that are in the ground, I have these bubblers set up, such as that guy right there. So on all of my trees, I've got a bubbler system that is set up just like that. And what I do is I simply just let it run for however long that I feel that that particular tree needs the water. So there is an app component to this. Again, it allows me to just essentially remotely water my trees. One note though, these are actually quite cheap. When I got them, they were like $15 a piece, because they are so cheap, and also, in my opinion, cheaply built. Make sure you have a hose clamp on your when you connect it to your hose. With this particular system, I like the fact that I'm able to also use the water filtration system, so it helps out with not killing the microorganisms that's alive in your ground. So and I'll be sure to put all of the links and descriptions of the different things that I have that has helped me out throughout the year in making sure all these trees make it here. Just one tip when watering. Right now, of course, it's winter time, so I don't water it at all and just instead rely on the rain. But when it comes to spring, summer, and fall, the best time that you want to water your trees is actually when the trees need the water, which generally would translate to right in the middle of the day. Actually, hold on, I'm sorry, let me turn off the water. I think I have this other hose on still. So again, going back to the watering, the time of the day to water, middle of the day, the hottest time of the day is the best time to water. So I've got my sprinkler set up to automatically water the trees in the middle of the day. You'll want to check out your local water restrictions though. A lot of the local water restrictions are catered to folks with lawn, and I know you've got your watering days, the hours that you are supposed to water, so just be mindful of that. So water irrigation is the big one, and I will now take you to the back where I've got a few more technology that I wanted to share. So just continuing on these Bluetooth enabled water systems here. So what these particular devices, because it runs off of Bluetooth, you have to be basically in the proximity of your home in order to access the app. However, if you want to go one step further, I've got these Bluetooths connected to a Bluetooth to a Wi-Fi gateway system up here. This is what it looks like. It simply connects. These are the gateways devices that simply connect the Bluetooth water devices to it, and then it allows me to then over the internet, over Wi-Fi, control my water system. So it just makes your life just easier. So that's that. Wanted to show you here. So that is the irrigation system that I've got set up. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, each tree there is a bubbler here and there. And it's again, it's been raining, so I don't have it on at all, but it just helps quite a bit when it comes to watering. In the past, I did hand water all my trees. Very, very time consuming process, but now that most of my trees are more mature, I'm able to get away with just having an automated sprinkler system. So the other technology that I have that I want to talk to you about are these temperature and humidity sensors. The units that I have are Bluetooth enabled. I do have one that is Wi-Fi enabled, which allows me to basically check it over the internet. But the Bluetooth ones, you essentially have to be near the proximity of your home in order to see it through the app. There is also an app component to it. The only downside about these particular units that I've got here is that they're not waterproof. That's why I've got it enclosed in a Ziploc bag here. So when it rains, the unit is fine. So no big deal. The cool thing about these particular unit is I've got them strategically positioned throughout my yard. It allows me to kind of keep an eye on the microclimate of each section of my yard. For example, in the summertime, if I find that one section of my yard is getting a bit too hot and trees in that section are getting a bit sizzle, then yes, that's when I'll erect a shade cloth of some sort or give it some shade. But it simply allows you to kind of keep an eye on the temperature and also more importantly, the humidity, just because most of our tropicals, they really want a lot of humidity, which unfortunately in the Central Valley we don't have. I mean, our summer temperatures are usually in the high 90s to 100s with humidity ranging between 10 to like 20-30%, which is not ideal for the trees. But you know, it allows you to make granular adjustments when needed. So with that being the case, I mean this is the beginning of January, and as you can see, I mean, everything seems to be relatively unharmed. I mean, even the black sapote here, usually around this time you start seeing blackening underneath some of the leaves. That's when it gets stressed out, but that hasn't appeared to be the case this year. So there is one more tech that I wanted to show you. Unfortunately, it is in this greenhouse here that I've got. So inside this greenhouse are all of my ultra sensitive tropicals. We're talking containerized Raxiambus, Malay rose apples, Malay apples, Mamey sapotes, things that sourshops, things that start stressing when the temperature drops below 40 degrees or so. So in here I've got a portable heater which is connected to my outlet, and in it I've got the unit which has a built-in thermostat, and I essentially have it set to the heater automatically kicking in and running itself when the temperature dips below, when the temperature hits 40 degrees. So anytime the greenhouse, the temperature hits 45 degrees, that particular heater automatically kicks in. So the actual unit itself, the heater, the greenhouse, really does not ever go below 45 degrees, which is the bare minimum survival for some of these trees. But I do just want them to make it to 3 months worth of winter. But beyond that, I mean, everything else is in the ground, as you could see. Seems to be taking the winter without any issue, which fortunately we have a La Nina year, which would mean it's unusually warmer than previous years, which is a good big plus for some of our tropicals here. So anyhow, yeah, I just wanted to share with you some of the technology that I use, which again you absolutely do not need, but it just helps. All right, have a good afternoon.